Yeah, fairly vanilla
my
second
spidey
game.
sense is telling me this is going north. I think anytime I see the plane path go anywhere near Oasis, through pretty much PCS2, we've been starting to see a lot more and more northern circles in that Cabrera kind of area. And I don't want to say that I want it, because I think that it's difficult to fight for, and I think that it really makes for a good showing. But when we have those very centralized circles like we did have for that very first game, I think that's, I don't want to say a little bit too easy for teams, but there's a lot of opportunity for not a lot of action, and I think for teams to let down their guards, which could have, as you said, perhaps been the cause for Radiance to go out pretty quickly for that match. Now, that said, the circle should pop here in just about a second. We'll know where exactly it is going to go, and all right, south it is.
That's the thing,
right.
Clover, that you have to understand is I make these circles. You know what I mean? I place these bad boys. That would actually be that'd be really fun if the casters could like choose circles for a day. The teams would absolutely hate us for forever. But
I mean, could you imagine if like Primrose got to pick circles? Like what that would do?
She does though. So that's already
true.
A thing that happens.
I forgot to get my bribes in today to Primrose so that I could get those Millie circles, those island circles. We might be able to. I'm not gonna say this isn't gonna go island. This is very centralized up on the mainland, Valley de Mar. But I think too, another thing to keep in mind with some of these things, and sometimes we always talk about with circles, is that it's the rotation and it's the teams that have to travel the farthest that are the ones that we're always keeping an eye out for that early game. And with the circle going this far south, Zenith is a team that has a lot of traveling to do. They're all the way up here at the very far north of the map on the eastern side, and that's going to take them at the very least through one or two squads depending on how they time this.
Yeah, it's all based on timing and location, like where if they plan on doing like a wide wrap to the east, going down that coast. If they want to go west, the plane was a little more positioned towards the west. Zenith is a team that I feel like will be comfortable rotating in a little late. They obviously have the firepower to fight on the edge. It's something they've done before to a pretty high success. So I think they'll be okay, but you're right. They are going to have to rotate far depending on when they decide to do that. I think it's probably to their benefit to just loot up as much as they can because they're going to be late anyways. I think the likelihood of them running into a team is going to be high. So whether they're going to be able to deal with that team, we'll see. Obviously, the last game that didn't work out, they came in on edge on the east late, and they got wiped. So we'll see if there's an adaptation there for this game.
And, we were just looking at the hard shifts as well. Hard shifts, game number 1, they looted on the East Coast at Puerto Paraiso. Now we're seeing them back in their home turf out in those compounds in and around Chumacera. And so with that, we kind of talked last game about how Sonics had it a little bit easy. They went Picado, Radiance and hard shifts weren't really too much in the way. And now, with them being on the edge, we're going to see that rotation come up a bit early, but now you've got Radiance and hard shifts here. And I'm kind of curious. I'm curious to see the change and what we can expect from Sonics for the grand finals. Is I think that's been a big conversation for us, is who's the team that can go up against Shoot to Kill? Who's the team that really has the opportunity to take this here? Obviously, Veritas, came in second place for PCS1, and they're still very much a part of the conversation. But with the inclusion of Tiggleton on that Sonics roster, that's kind of been, I think, a very big question on everybody's mind, what they're going to be capable of. And I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that the grand finals is going to be where we'll finally see them flourish.
I mean, I think Sonics is capable of exactly what they were capable of with Profi, which was pretty much whatever they wanted as long as they put in the work, right? I think that's still with Tiggleton one of the best rosters technically on a mechanical level, but they just, I don't know, something is just off with them. Maybe it's too much aggression. Maybe it's some of their decision making. I don't actually know what the problem with Sonics is. And it's not that they have like a terrible issue. It's just they have not been as strong as we've seen in the past. Once Profi left and Tig came, and that's not even to say that Tiggleton is an issue or not as good as Profi or whatever. I'm just saying there's growing pains. They need to get past it. Hopefully in the grand finals, they've already had a pretty decent start to the first game because of Tig. Let's see if they can continue that. This is also an area that I can tell you right now I'm not used to seeing in comp play or even being watched. This is a very Western compound that rarely sees anyone ever going to it, but there it is for your viewing pleasure. And Yaxley is going to be barely getting away. I like the little trap set by Radiance, but and a Murado on the road, that thing's going to cruise.
Yeah, and you've got the rest of Comets now starting to make their transition onto this. So as you said, Yaxley up ahead for that scouting, and Los already coming back down from the hill. So interesting play for them. Now with this type of circle, oof, there you go.
Perfect timing.
There we go, nice. A couple shots out, but no knocks just yet. Monty's going to be able to get through that. We still got 2 more members of Comets. I think I've learned the lesson here. We're going to go wide off the road finally. This Radiance. Oh, here you go. Off the distance, still trying to battle out for D-Treats. And Victor driving in onto this. Oh, a little bit silly to start. I love it.
Yeah, I do like the rotation, though, coming out from Comets. I mean, this is interesting. Los is chasing down Yaxley and Victor.
I mean, I guess if you've got the support of your teammates, right, driving.
Yeah, I mean,
right
he's not actually
McCoy
chasing them
Gaxi.
down. Yeah, but he's rotating past. But these two teams, watch. I would say watch for Radiance and Comets to get in a little bit of a scuffle with each other later on, depending if Radiance wants to stay or it looks like they're actually going to continue to go south towards Higos.
Mm-hmm. I mean, both teams are capable of so much. We talked a little bit last match about the teams that were strong on Miramar, and Radiance is one of those 4 teams that we've really been able to see put down quite a lot of points in the group stages. Comets, though, have put a lot of points down for group stages in general, landing themselves in 4th place overall, Radiance in 2nd place. So an interesting matchup between both the teams if we see them come back into combat early on. But now as we're watching the rest of these rotations come back out to the north, this is an area that I'm expecting to see a bit more play. You and I have often talked about when the circles hold on to these ridge lines on either side of the road and how teams need to make a choice early on which side to play from, because if that circle takes a hard shift in any direction, what that could mean. Now, with so much of that western wall that we know is unplayable out to the west, would you take a chance at all on some of these places that we've seen ATC, and some of the other teams out to the west take? I think Fabled, Dodge, Carnage are also all up on this shelf. Or would you rather sit in the center?
It's tough with a circle like this just because, the edge varies so much, specifically the western edge, which is kind of what you're talking about, right? Because so much of it is out of play. It's hard to gauge where you should be, whether you should be more central or not. When we talk about a team like ATC taking those compounds, ATC kind of just does whatever they want to do. So I don't really know what goes on in the thought process of that team, but I love watching them play because they really mix it up. As we now settle with Shoot to Kill, looks like they're going to be taking shots at Sonics, but Sonics has a nice little pinch here, potentially to take care of SDK if they're not too careful.
Yeah, I mean, Sonics, right, with a nice 2-2 split. You've got Tiggleton and Shrimsy sharing one compound mime and win in the other. But down to the south from them as well, out in Chimasera, is Oath. So Sonics, all taking a couple shots onto Shoot to Kill, do need to be a little bit careful in case Balefrost or Snakers choose to extend onto this. But Shoot to Kill will pull back away, find some safety in this compound. This is a good position for them to hold through right now as we see avoid some of the damage. However, the zone is closing, and it's a hard shift up to the north. Wow. So very interesting circle number 2 already.
Yeah, that was, I'll be honest, that wasn't a shift I was expecting, at least on Circle 2, but this is going to force a lot of teams back north, and Shoot to Kill is in a prime position, actually, to take a nice spot up here to the north, whether it's on Crossroads or if it's going to be more towards Monty, but this is a nice compound for them to take. There's really not going to be anyone up here since everyone kind of started rotating more so to the south, or at least hedged their bets there, and so SDK has a fantastic rotation point from this compound, if they need to.
And Fabled still holding on to a bit of the high ground. It looks like the hilltop that we kind of talked about just a moment ago is still inside the zone for phase number 2, but I think you and I both know the likelihood of this staying in much longer is going to be a little bit slim. So a lot of opportunities for them to work with. We can see Dodge just below them, as well as Veritas. Shots from Haxetti out. Oh, he is going to get the knock onto Sharpshot. There you go, Haxetti. Getting one, but there's nobody else right now into that compound. Jazza making a run for it. Shots back out. Looks like Jazza is going to get there safely to try and pick up that res. But, I mean, there you go. Haxetti has just been such a key player here on Fabled.
Yeah, Haxetti has been huge. I think that's literally one of the best pickups they could have asked for. But Lampalot immediately going to get a knock here on Rip as he's alone fighting this team before.
I mean, look, a really great play right now coming out from Duel is going to finish the crash onto this compound. Hack City rotating wide, looking for an angle here. Gets some damage, can't find the knock, just it gets it there. Lampalot falls back down, but we see Danny G now has shots on Hack City as well. Hella also flushed, so Greg Shot and Hack City, last two still standing up for Fabled, as nades coming out now from Danny G.
These are some good zone grenades to kind of keep Hack City at bay, and I really love Duel, pushing the initiative here. This is a team that has definitely struggled in the past, and I really like to see them kind of take control of their own fate, and they're just going for it. It's exactly what you want to see. Nice knock from Cherry.
I mean, Hack said he tried his best there, but ultimately was falling down there. All that's left is Greg Shot. We can see Cherry off at distance. Is going to spot him out, but Wooly in the end with a headshot. Fabled goes out very early, 16th. After getting victory there on match number 1, Duel's going to have plenty of time to recover, though, and stay. And you know what? For this,
a 1 for 4 is a good trade in my book any day, to be completely honest. And Duel really came out fighting there. Lamp went down, but he put himself in a position where he was able to get the first knock and really do a good amount of damage and surprise Fabled, which is why Duel was able to come in behind and kind of clean that up. So it also seems like that was really clean between Danny and Cherry really playing off each other, and that's kind of what I feel like we've been missing from Duel, is that nice synergy. So good start for them. Love that fight. Keep it up, guys.
Yeah, Duel, of course, was really Duel and Fabled, right? They were our two bottom teams coming into this. Fabled was ranked at 16th, Duel ranked at 15th with 156 and 134 each, respectively, for the points that they're able to pull up in the group stage. That said, though, I mean, a lot of work that needed to be done in that downtime, and obviously, as you said, a synergy is starting to come out from Duel, who seem to be struggling quite a bit, not only in PCS1 but again in PCS2.
What are these shifts?
Sorry. I'm digging it. No, look at this, and this is going to be very helpful to Zenith, Sonics, and Liberate, as Liberate right now sitting pretty out, and Chumisera.
Oh yeah,
that means that Radiance is going to have to work on their rotation transition now back into the zone, and you know what? I'm digging it. I'm digging these crazy circles. I know maybe that's because I'm a caster and we really like the stuff that's toxic.
Again, for us, it's just watching these teams adapt to those bad situations. Like as a player, it's having to rotate across because of a hard shift. It's never fun. It's never something you enjoy doing. But watching a team navigate that, fight through a few teams, make it work. I mean, that's why I personally like those kind of sadistic circles where they're just not great to play, because they really do force out some incredible PUBG from some of these guys and some of these teams. So this is kind of one of those circles. It's a hard shift, and a lot of these guys who had set up more towards the west or the northwest are now going to have to position themselves to rotate to the east.
And rotating to the really any spot for safety right now is see Illusion quick to take this compound here on the minimap. You can see ATC and Shoot to Kill not too far behind, but it's this fight that's been going on between 303 and Veritas. It's going to be interesting indeed. Just inside the center of the zone here, both Keenan and Pentalol still knocked for Veritas. Opportunity for redemption and revives here if they can take out Honey Badger. As 303 has lost one in this 2-2 split. Landoon and D-Rich up the hill trying to do additional damage onto Veritas here. So if Jazza can take out Honey Badger, might be an opportunity here. But nope, Honey Badger is going to say nope to Sharp Shot as that flush comes back out.
If 303 was indeed split here down on this lower compound, this is not a common split, because although you have cover to give from the position that D-Rich and Landoon are in, it's just not that beneficial to hold this compound as well as hold the hilltop. You're better off just holding the hilltop, which is one of the best positions on the map, especially when the circle is on it. So, interesting
speaking
split.
Of hilltop, ATC right now is starting to pull up onto the hilltop just above Veritas's compound. We can see on the minimap Marcelic, Aguila all setting up here, and so might be an ability to help out Veritas. Shots onto 303, or it could spell the end of Veritas's demise, as Jazza has been bit up. Looks like they might not be able to get to Pentalol in time. Will bleed out, so still 2 players up for Veritas onto this.
Pick up
now we can see
kit.
This is kind of a little bit of a trapped situation for all of them now.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why this compound isn't really one that you normally split in, because this can happen. It's just not the greatest position. I understand maybe while Veritas is here, if they had to crash here, or it's kind of a last resort. But 303 looked comfortable on that hill. So again, just an interesting kind of choice there. I'm not exactly sure why we found 2 members of 303 in that bowl, but we did.
All right, and the next circle shift is coming, and once again, a very, very hard shift, this time away from Chumacera out towards the west. And most of our teams that we've been following along already, you can see here on the right-hand side as we go back to full screen, still inside the zone, and they'll have plenty of time to finish up this fight. And now it's all the teams to the south that need to transition their way back into the zone as Duel trying their hardest,
Cherry.
but ultimately fall in the end. Cherry falling to Maluk as Duel going out in 15th place.
You know, they still had 4 kills, though, so they got a decent amount of points. Again, anything, especially in the beginning of a series like this, all the points you can accumulate, as little or as much as many as they are, is incredibly important to the start of the series. I feel like that was a very roundabout way of saying things, but yeah, that's great. The fact that they even got those 4 points. And here comes Comets now rotating just past Hardshifts, and Hardshifts is going to start to kind of position themselves to receive this because they're not in a great position, especially with Comets in that compound.
Yeah, I mean, Hardshift's trying to create as much hard cover as they can as we see the vehicles are out. Tires, though, are being blown from Comets who still need to work their way into the zone.
Yep.
Detreats and Yaxley trying to find an angle that's going to get them safely as we see them continue to rotate in those vehicles. Meanwhile, elsewhere on the map, Dodge is going to fall there. Finna eliminated actually from Sonics out at range. You can see Purdy Curdy has been knocked, unfortunately. It looks like a lot of teams picked the wrong place to rotate back in. There's so many teams right now that are right on top of each other. As Los HD, McCoy shots right now out onto Zenith.
Oh, the jump!
Get some nice
that was
hits,
very
but
dangerous.
no knocks just yet. Los. That's a lot of damage, though.
Yeah, and the way that they're approaching this is correct. They know it's probably a duo now in front of them, so is Radiance going to get aggressive here? I mean, this might be their only chance to really do so without the support of the other 2 players, but it's also not the greatest push. It's kind of an awkward situation, but here comes Waldini coming onto the backside of this concrete, as well as McCoy. So now they have a nice duo to fight this, as Zenith finds themselves in a little bit of trouble now if they can't clean this up, especially getting an early knock.
The biggest threat, of course, for Radiance is the fact that Snakers is still wide, taking shots on this from Oath, as Radiance will send 2, as you said, out onto the God compounds, looking to take this away from Zenith and find some safety into the zone on the edge. As you can see in the minimap, just how many teams are in the area. Mystery, though, still upstairs as Kickstart waiting for them around the corner. So it's going to be really reliant on taking 1 or 2 members out on Zenith here, take out this 2-2 split. Both Leda and Roth are dealing with the rest of Oath right up ahead, and Waldo being very, very patient here.
This was just a really well executed time to kind of make this happen. They are running out of time because the circle is starting to push in, but I feel like Radiance did recognize that the other duo was getting pressure not only by them but by Oath, and so they chose the right time to come in, but they can't get the knock. McCoy's going to go down. Waldo going for the trade. He's not going to get it, and now Radiance is starting to have their back against the wall.
Waldo, as we see right now, is kind of dancing around McCoy's body as Kickstart looking for another angle on the rest of Radiance as the team pushing in, trying to stay alive. But, oh, beautiful angle there. Will get the knock onto Waldo. So waiting for the push from the rest of the team. This is still the edge of zone, and we're in phase 4, so rest of Radiance needs to make a play and push themselves right into Kickstart.
Nice.
Kickstart finds another one. Los goes down. All that's left is 1 more member here of Radiance. Can they find him out here? Gaxi working his way into the zone. Meanwhile, the circle has taken another hard shift away from this.
He waited too long. Yeah, he thought he heard something. He waited too long, and that first aid's not going to stick. So he's going to go down after a beautiful play, taking down 2. And Oath has been an absolute thorn in Zenith's side as they took down not only one of the members up top that was helping Kickstart hold that, but now they're going to wipe them out completely.
Yeah, with taking out Leda, I think the biggest thing for Oath right now is, did they read the kill feed well enough to know that Gaxi is still up? We see Balefrost watching the angle onto this, and so it's going to be a bit of a tricky situation. Oath had been taking shots at both teams here. Meanwhile, as we see the rest of them, Balefrost actually is going to go wide along with Snakers, try and get 1 more look at this compound to spot out what's left of Radiance. He will find him. Gaxi goes back out. And Radiance going out in 12th place. So the circle, though, as we saw, has shifted. And so now Liberate has been waiting on the backhand side of this. So Oath charging right into this, as we can already see shots coming back out.
Yep, and Oath, they've done a lot of work, but with the shift, as you said, these guys are going to have to work even more on that edge there on the east. And Liberate in a pretty decent position to receive that. It's just, Oath is going to have to frag out if they really want to get out of that. They do potentially have the option to kind of wrap a little more to the east, but regardless, they're either going to have to fight through Sonics or they're going to have to fight through Liberate. It looks like they've chosen to fight through Liberate.
And ooh, nice nade there by Simply Mad as Snakers is going to go down. Balefrost Relo looking for another angle onto this as their own utility comes back out in retaliation. Smokes out looking for a res here, but that Molotov by Matt is going to go just too far down the hill. Relo, meanwhile, getting hit by Guabi as he came up from the hill. J-Sank, however, is going to get at it. Looks like Hardshift's trying to come into the backside of this fight.
Yeah, Adit was so far removed from his team. I'm not sure if he was stuck there or he's using it as a vantage point to get some information. But look at this. Ice Tech just burning through 2 members of Oath. And now Pat's going to have to run. He's the last one.
Pat actually is going to take a chance, try to take some more shots onto Liberate here, but found out in the end by Ice Tech. As the barrel comes out and Liberate once again with a squad wipe, but immediately they have no time to drop their guard. They've got to deal with the Hardshifts. Meanwhile, 303 once again finding themselves into conflict, this time with Comets. You see the Molotovs are out. Yaxley trying to survive this just a bit, and 303 is going to send one out the window. It's Landoon, but he's spotted by D-Treats, knocked and flushed out. And Honey Badger, D-Rich.
I really,
in 2 very different places.
Yeah, I really like watching these 2 teams fight because these are the 2 teams that were most improved over, the kind of the group stages in PCS2. And Comets, first game not necessarily going their way, but the way that they've been working the West here, the West Edge, has been quite impressive. They've picked up 2 kills. They've now, really forced themselves on a 303's position. They now have the compound, but they have still far to go. I mean, these guys have been working in from the West for a while now, cautiously moving in. We saw them rotate earlier in front of Hardshifts, and I like the way they've been playing so far, but this is still a rough bit of terrain for them to traverse.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Comet's only hope to get into the zone safely is to really go right to where we see D-Rich off into the distance. That's on the edge of zone. Honey Badger, the other member of 303, still alive, still out to the south, trapped actually by Jazza and Veritas. Meanwhile, Liberate managed to rotate back around, find a compound into safety, put some distance between themselves and Hardshifts, who now need to figure out how they're going to get themselves into the circle. We've got 10 teams up, 30 players still alive. You can see on the minimap as well, Sonics in a nice position inside the circle as they're actually going to find a knock on shoot to kill.
Oh, Sonics has been knocking and just putting so much damage on the field from their position. And they've been there for a while, man. This is kind of like, I feel like a break for them because Sonics usually chases a circle. I think PUBG has finally been generous enough to give them one. And they've definitely not squandered that opportunity, let me tell you, as Icy Flex goes down.
Ooh, there you go. Sonics right now with 4 kills and a knock to their name. You see shoot to kill trying their best to recover as Illusion rotating in just to the other side of this ridge line. I think the biggest thing that's going to help out Illusion right now is the fact that Sonics still have sight onto Alo and Civ. That said, when we take a look from their angle, Illusion has to worry as well about all the other teams that still have angle on this, and that's Comets. Oh! The teams down to the south, and Civ with a nade. Beautiful. We'll get that knock onto Adam. Shoot to kill.
Man,
is exactly
that landed
where Illusion is.
in Adam's mouth. I mean, that pretty much exploded right in his face. That was a disgustingly well-placed nade coming out from Civ. A little payback to an old teammate, maybe? I don't know.
Ooh. And there you go. I mean, back again to the south, right? This is what we knew was going to be a bit of a tricky situation. Honey Badger is already out to the zone. Jazza leaving just a bit late. Meanwhile, ATC fighting out for Hardshifts that it's actually going to be Yaxley that gets that last kill onto Jazza. Meanwhile, look at this ATC nade back here, this time on the Hardshifts. J-Sake and Chubba go back out. Loeb's the last one still standing. And the utility is out in force right now.
Wow. That was synchronized grenading from Marslick and Norca. That was, dude, the grenade from Civ and then those 2 grenades that just came out of ATC were direct hits. I mean, man, those were so well placed.
We see ATC still with 3 up. The res has not come out onto Aguila just yet, being very mindful of the push from Comets. All of these teams, though, as we can see here, need to move north once again. Another hard shift from the circle comes back out, and this time Liberate as well is going to have to vacate their compound.
Yeah.
We have the opportunity to come back and pinch this.
This is rough for everyone that's
still out. Oh. I think the biggest break here is for Illusion and Shoot to Kill, who've been pinned down from Sonics for quite some time. This time, the circle is, in fact, going to give them a little bit of a bone with this. But that said, we can see up in the high ground, all of those teams continuing to fight as they're going to have to come back down from this hill.
The biggest thing for those teams on the south, in, Illusion and STK, is if they can capitalize on all these teams coming in from Sorry, those teams in the north to capitalize on these teams coming in from the south. Because these guys might cause problems for Sonics, which will give the teams in the north the opportunity to kind of push forward.
Loeb's doing a number on to Liberate, but took a lot of damage from that as well. And Marcelic is going to get an easy flush out of this as Hardshift's eliminated into 8th place. ATC will win out the high ground, and as they migrate their way into the zone, still need to be mindful of Ice Tech, who's left behind from Liberate. Meanwhile, Comets trying to battle this out from Carnage at range. We're actually going to get taken down by ATC. Norcus getting Yaxley and D-Treats onto this, as well as some of the Sonics. It looks like everybody's got an angle onto this fight.
And this is rough still, though, because the teams of the north can't really move. Sonics has just been such a nuisance.
Ooh, he's on fire! Oh, Monty is gonna take that out. Stray God put out of his misery, and Carnage Gaming eliminated into 6th place. You know, a Molly and a smoke. I get it. It'd be an easy mistake there.
I think he was just running out, just begging, like, shoot me, please. I'm suffering. Just looking for anyone in that smoke while he's on fire. But Comet's staying alive, you know, decent amount of kills as well and points. So anything that Monty can do at this point is going to be a huge plus for them. As ATC's 3 kills on Norcus, 3 on Marcelic, you know, we saw that great grenade combo coming out from them, but they're still in a rough position because once this edge goes out, I mean, Sonics at this point is starting, you see Shrimsy starting to kind of coast out and move out of the compound to really get the angles, and this is exactly what Hypoc was talking about when he was talking about Veritas the last game, and I can't agree more, is that point of, you know, kind of moving out early when you don't necessarily need to really start to force your map control.
And we're seeing that come out right now from Sonics as we take a look at the map as well. Mime anchored down behind as Tiggleton, Shrimsy, and Win send it just a bit early to try to take out ATC and regain control of the south. Meanwhile, the circle did shift. Illusion is going to have to work their way in the zone. Shoot to kill just barely in. Monty's Shack still in as well. And there you have Shrimsy and Tiggleton looking for that angle onto ATC. But this is going to take them right into shoot to kill.
Yeah, who's been there for so long, and here comes beautiful grenades. Utility has been on point for everyone using it in this this game. From all 64 players, it seems like. But SDK is going to go down. There's really nothing they can do about that sandwiched. And they're going to go out in 5th.
I mean, nades and shoot to kill, but this time that's how they die. Is there any better combo? But the best combo that right now we're seeing from Sonics, as we can still see 4 players up. They are going to lose Tiggleton in this transition, but they are going to take out a couple players for ATC. Melon falls as well. 7 kills right now to Sonic's name. And they do have a little bit of safety and protection from Illusion for their current place standing. So with 4 teams still up, Top Dog falls down here for Illusion. Adam caught out on the edge of zone, trying to stay alive, but is still not rough. In here. This is the end of Phase 8. They're not going to get much of a reprieve here, so they need to move very quickly and start taking out other members. They're taking shots onto this. Monty, I think, has got the angle, but so does Sonic's Mime. Shots right there into Adam
they're
again.
Still not in. I still don't think they're in. This is such a rough position for the last 2 members of Illusion here, as Adam is so low, and all the teams are just looking at
11 HP.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have much. He is, you know, he does have a boost going, but they don't really have much to play. Nox going to come out. It's actually going to be Monty. And now Freebie Please, the only one that stands for Illusion, as Sonics is just wrapping back and forth, taking as much control as they possibly can, and I love to see this from them.
I mean, we're here into phase number 9. So see the very tiny dot in the center of the minimap. That is where the circle is going to close. And so Sonics regain control on the map right now, looking for more damage onto ACC. Utility is out. Free Me Please was found by Shrimsy. As our last 2 teams, I think, still up. No, Monty, excuse me, was not found just yet. There we go. 10 kills for Sonics. I think our observer was just a little bit further behind. Norcus last up. Any trolls eliminated? No, Monty has been up this entire time, you guys. I was wrong. And Comets now with 1 still standing. Look at this. Great play. And I think this is finally
7
the time
kills,
for
second.
Sonics. This is going to be hard for Monty.
Whatever happens here for Monty, he's already done his job, and he's done it very well. Comets are going to be happy. He's going to run out, deny the points. I love it. In that situation, again, with your back against the blue, there's just no way I think he would have even seen a kill. A knock, maybe. There's no way he would have been able to clean it up. Denies the point. Sonics comes out on top